Here again with another video, and this one is actually going to be a collection video. It's been a while since I've done another collection video, and I've talked about wanting to do a Smashing Pumpkins one now for a while, and this is what I'm actually going to show. I'm going to show off all my Smashing Pumpkins records, and I honestly have a lot more Smashing Pumpkins records than I even realized as I was pulling them out to do this video. Smashing Pumpkins, easily one of my favorite bands. I've always loved the Smashing Pumpkins. Always loved just Billy Corgan. I feel like Billy Corgan himself is just a great musician. Really enjoy Billy Corgan, and it's even better with the Smashing Pumpkins. I'm actually going to be seeing the Smashing Pumpkins in just a couple weeks. I'm going to be seeing them April 15th. I'm actually going to be making the trip to Louisville, Kentucky to see the Smashing Pumpkins. And I honestly cannot wait. I'm really excited. This will be my second time seeing them. I actually just saw them way back, I believe it was in June I saw them last year. They were actually here in Indianapolis and I saw them, and I was on their Plain Song tour, and it was just pretty much Billy Corgan. It could have pretty much just been billed as a Billy Corgan solo concert doing Smashing Pumpkins songs, but either way, absolutely loved it. Fantastic show. Honestly, probably one of the best shows I've honestly ever seen. And seeing them again in Louisville, Jimmy Chamberlin's actually rejoined the band, and that even gets me more hyped to see them with Jimmy Chamberlin, who is obviously the original drummer for the Smashing Pumpkins. And then I actually just saw on this past Saturday, which would have been March 26th, I believe, I saw that James Iha actually played like 10 songs with Billy Corgan and the Smashing Pumpkins, so 3/4 of the original lineup of the Smashing Pumpkins were together on stage, which is just amazing. It's just an awesome feeling to see the Smashing Pumpkins almost complete, and I'm really hoping that James Iha actually does other stuff with the Smashing Pumpkins in the future. Hopefully it just wasn't a one-off thing. I mean, I really do like the guitarist they have now for the Smashing Pumpkins. I feel like he is pretty solid. But definitely hope that they do some stuff together in the future. And I know that the Smashing Pumpkins are actually releasing a new album, I think sometime this summer, and I know that Jimmy Chamberlin is playing with them on that album, so definitely excited about that. Definitely really cool. But I'm going to stop talking. I could talk about the Smashing Pumpkins all day, but I'm just going to start showing off the Smashing Pumpkins records that I have. I'm going to try to do it as quick as possible, so I'm not going to take everyone out of their albums. If they're a maybe colored album, I'll show them, but the first one is obviously their first album, Gish. This one is an original copy of Gish. Really like this album. Just a fantastic album. Kind of biased because I really like all the Smashing Pumpkins albums. Also, I do have the reissue of Gish, which I honestly feel like the reissue and the Smashing Pumpkins reissues just sound fantastic. Probably some of the better reissues. I honestly feel like the reissues of the Smashing Pumpkins albums a lot of times honestly probably sound better than the original albums that they came out with back in the day. But I really like the album cover of this one too, with the kind of holographic looking cover. But that's just a fantastic album from them. And then the next one I have is, of course, Siamese Dream. Of course, I mean, just this album is just fantastic. And actually on this leg of this tour that the Smashing Pumpkins are doing, Billy Corgan's already stated that he's going to play a good chunk of Siamese Dream on this tour. And I just can't wait. I mean, he played probably 4 or 5 songs off of this album when I saw them back last June, but definitely cannot wait to hear just a good chunk of this album in person. Just awesome. I mean, Cheer Up Rock, Today, Rocket, Disarm, Mayonnaise, Space Boy. He actually played Space Boy when I saw him last time. It was just fantastic to hear live, and this is just a fantastic album. Definitely one of my favorite Smashing Pumpkins albums, I'm sure, as it is most people. And this one is an original copy, and it is on this nice purple looking colors. And I know they had several different colors of albums when they came out originally, but I got the purple one there. It's a nice gatefold. I don't have the reissue of this one. I actually do want to get the reissue at some point. But I just have the original on this one right now. But just a fantastic album from them. Then I also do have the Pieces Iscariot, the collection album, more like B-sides and rarities and stuff like that. This one has a gatefold as well. This is the reissue from 2014, 2012. It might have came out in 2012 actually, but a lot of really great songs in this one too. Really love the cover of Landslide that they do on there as well. And honestly, really like Billy Corgan's version of Landslide, I think, more than I do Stevie Nicks singing it, just personally. And I also do have an original copy of Pieces Iscariot. I also do have the original sleeve in there as well, just really has the lyrics on there, nothing too special. And this one is on collared vinyl as well. It's on this like yellow, gold looking album. But it looks really, really cool. And then the next album I'm going to show is the 2012 Melancholy in the Infinite Sadness box set. I mean, this album is just massive. It's just so good as well. I mean, of course, Tonight, Zero, Bullet with Butterfly Wings, Muzzle, 1979. It's just a fantastic song. I mean, I remember 1979 is probably the first Smashing Pumpkins song I ever heard. It was probably when I was probably 5 or 6 years old. It was just probably right around the time this came out. I remember my dad having the CD and always playing it in the car. And that song really got me hooked on the Smashing Pumpkins. And this is just a fantastic box set. Just a massive box set. It comes with 2 books. One has like all the lyrics. Then has another book. It's kind of like the history of the Smashing Pumpkins and the making of this album. Bunch of like quotes and interviews and pictures and stuff. And I really, really love the artwork for Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness. Always really just loved the artwork. And that's one thing that I really wish the reissue used like this main picture for the artwork instead of the one that they use. But I mean, it is a 4 LP set. It's just a massive album. It's one of those ones where I wish I could find the original. But I mean, it just goes for so much money online. But just, again, I mean, Melancholy Infinite Sadness is just a classic album. I feel like it's a must-own for anybody that really likes that kind of music. But moving along, the next album I'm going to show, of course, is their next album, Door. This is the 1998, or this is the 2014 reissue. And just, again, sounds fantastic. And I also do have the original 1998 copy as well. This one is in mono. The original one's in mono, and I believe this one is in stereo. But and the reissue is a 2 LP set. This one is also a 2 LP set, but it's only on 3 sides. It's a gatefold. The third side is just nothing but dead wax. I mean, just a fantastic album as well. Probably not as much people like this one as the other albums, but I feel like definitely a very, very different album than Melancholy and Siamese Dream, but very good. And then the next album I'm going to show is an original 2000 copy of Machinae, The Machines of the God. Again, I really love this album. Blue Skies Bring Tears. Really, really enjoy that song. And this one does also have a booklet inside. But just on black vinyl. It's just a fantastic album. This is one that I've heard rumors that they are going to eventually reissue. And I think they were actually supposed to reissue it a couple years ago, or maybe a year ago, and there was a problem with the record label or something that they weren't able to release it due to like copyright reasons or something silly like that. But hopefully they get it reissued and reissue with Machinae too, because obviously that one is like really hard to find on vinyl, because I think it was self-released like 20 copies. But one that I hope eventually gets a reissue, but definitely glad to have an original one of that one. And then the last few studio albums I have is Oceania, which is probably my favorite newer Smashing Pumpkins album with the newer lineup, but it's a really great album there. And then of course their last album that came out with at the tail end of 2014, I feel like it came out around Christmas time in 2014, it's Monuments to an Elegy. Another album that I thought was really underrated. I feel like it didn't get as much love, but I really enjoyed this album. Tommy Lee actually plays drums on this album too, so that's pretty cool. But that's all the studio albums I have. I do have a couple other albums to show. I have a Chicago Tapes and Unreleased Demos, unofficial bootleg release, which is a pretty cool album actually. It's has a lot of demos and early takes of songs. Like there's a version of Bullet with Butterfly Wings on here that's just totally different than what is on Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness. It's really cool to hear. Of course, the artwork is kind of just copying the Melancholy artwork, and it is a 2 LP set, and they are both on colored vinyl. The first one is on a gray vinyl, kind of doll looking. The other one is on a purple vinyl, which almost looks black on the camera. But very cool bootleg album. And of course some other Smashing Pumpkins related albums. I actually just picked these up about a week ago. I actually just showed them in my last Vinyl Finds video, and it's these two James Iha records. Of course, this one is just a 4-song single. It has just 4 songs on it, obviously, and this one is Let It Come Down, which is his first solo album that came out in 1998, which is just a fantastic album. Really, if you can find this album for a good price, definitely recommend picking it up. It is definitely a really solid album, definitely underrated. But that is all the Smashing Pumpkins albums I have. Really looking forward to seeing them in Louisville. I can't wait till their new album comes out. And another thing that I really like about Billy Corgan is he works for TNA Wrestling, and he is on TNA Wrestling a lot, doing stuff on the actual TV show. So that's always cool to see him on that as well. But again, that's all the stuff, all the Smashing Pumpkins albums that I have. Hopefully have another video up soon. And again, guys, thanks for watching.